Hi guys, welcome to another process video. I'm actually in America at the moment on a holiday and I have pre-recorded this video for you. So I hope that you like it. I sort of started this page with nothing in mind, hey. I just refound this journal that I thought I'd lost, and so I was like, oh, I want to do it. I gessoed it, a couple of nights before and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Then I remembered that I had wanted to go back and look at some of the old sort of like packaging technique stuff that I had done ages and ages ago. So I decided to get that out. I found a bit of plastic and I'm using these very old Mr. Huey's inks that I've had, probably for, I don't know, 6 years, maybe longer. I have tons of them. So I'm just using the blue and mixing it out. On the camera it looks like quite a nice blue, but in real life it was much more greeny blue than what I had thought it would be. And I guess I wanted it something more bluey, so I decided to use some of these, the Liquitex liquid acrylic paint, and just mix that with water and put that on as well. And I was really happy with that color and the depth that the two colors gave it, especially because the darker color was on the bottom. That was sort of lucky, I guess. And here I've just got another Mr. Huey's ink, a green, that I am just splattering over the top. If you're interested, the blue that I used from the liquid acrylic is the Liquitex Cerulean Blue Hue. That's one of my favorites. So I'm just doing some splatters. I didn't want to get too, carried away with that. I wanted to add another bit of depth with a much lighter blue, so I just used some of the white liquid acrylic ink, mixed it. There was already, bits of blue left on my page, so I decided to do that. Mix that white with it to make a lighter blue and put that on. That ended up being really watery, and you can see here that I spend a lot of time drying it. But what I'm trying to do, because the heat gun, even though it has less air force than like a hairdryer, this is why you would use a heat gun, because a hairdryer will blow air out and a heat gun won't blow so much air out. It will just heat to a very high temperature. In case you're wondering, I always wondered. But there is still air that comes out, and so it will move the ink or paint or whatever around on the page. And so I had to keep moving my heat gun back and forward because I didn't want to move it completely to a different spot. I just wanted to sort of help it dry, and that helped the edges dry and then keep the paint all together so it didn't keep running. You can see there that I've just added a few more bits, more like splatters, like dots, putting that down. And I feel like I want to add some white spots, even after last week's video talking about the white spots being like bird poo or whatever. I wanted to do like little white spots. You can see here, little white spots, they look fine, right? Because I mixed this, I'm really, really low on the white liquid acrylic. Hopefully, while I'm in America, I might be able to buy some cheaper than here in Australia. But because I don't have very much, I watered it down, and then it was very translucent, which in the end works out fine. But when I splattered it down, it wasn't exactly how I planned it out to be, but that's okay. What am I doing here? Oh, just drying it. I've got like a lot of paint on here now, so I really having to dry it really well. This is a real advantage that this is one of, well, I only have a couple of pages done in this book, so I can be a bit heavy on the watery paints and stuff and not feel very stressed about it mixing through to other pages, which, to be honest, I never feel stressed about, but it does happen. I do ruin pages, so I'm very grateful that I take a photo of every page when it's finished, and that way, if things do get ruined, I do have a nice photo of the finished piece, which is good. Yeah, you can see there I'm just checking because it looks like it's gone into the spine of the book a little bit. Here I'm just adding a couple of yellow dots. I definitely don't want very much yellow, but I just thought it might be nice to have a little bit of a color change, and it's very subtle in the final piece, and they don't turn green, but some of them do that are translucent over the blue do have a bit of a greeny touch, which is really good. Okay, here I'm going to get out some stamps. I've done this background. This looks really nice. I'm not really sure what I want to do. My son is next to me at this point saying, you never use these Hebrew stamps. You should use them. I do use them, but I suppose percentage wise of the pages I don't use them that much. They are his. I gave them to him for Sukkot, but whatever. Maybe he's forgotten because I totally snaffled them and stuck them in my art journal room. But anyway, I decide he gives me some words that he wants me to write, and we decide on shalom, and he wants to help me do it, which I let him. I'm using black stays on ink. I'm not even like 100% confident when I start this that I've spelt shalom right, because the letters have lots of serifs on them. I don't know if you can see, and so they look different. I'm not like very proficient with Hebrew, and so I like sometimes that bit confuses me, like anyway, so you can see here I'm putting the ink on and Leora is stamping it for me. I, in my head, imagine this to be like very ordered and all the letters next to each other and whatever, and he just sort of stamps them on, and I am pretty much having a heart attack at this stage. Like, I'm already a very stressful day. Then this mem doesn't stamp properly. You can see there it looks like a, I don't know, weird, it's a mem sofit, and it doesn't join up at the bottom. So I don't know what letter it is anymore. It's just very annoying that didn't work. This break is because I'm yelling at all the other children, get out of here. The thing isn't working. Mummy's stressed. Stop doing this. Ugh, it was just, I shouldn't have even tried to do this. I'm trying to do this video now, and Ahava is, you can probably hear in the background, talking to me. Ahava, don't touch that ink. Anyway, I take a break because, you know, I can tell when I'm not, and it's not working. This turned out to not be a very relaxing time, art journaling, and it turned out to be a stressful time, and who wants that? No one. So I gave up basically and came back the next day, and I used a black marker to color in over the top of that shalom. I spent ages trying to work out, should I just cover this over, but I really liked the background. I didn't want to cover, I did kind of want to cover over the shalom, but I decided to embrace it and just, it looked kind of floaty, I guess. So I'm trying to add some more bubbly bits to increase the floatiness of the page. So what I've done on the left is just put gesso, and I just used the packaging that I'd used before that already had the blue on it, and added a little bit more of the liquid acrylic, mixed them together. I wanted a thicker thing because I'm using this stencil. I'm just using my finger. Do you have to be careful using your finger in a stencil, that you don't sort of lift the stencil in any way, or you know what I mean? Like, it can be easier to sort of make a less crisp line, but I managed to do this okay. With this big round circle stencil, which is just a piece of like overhead projector sheet that I used to hole punch and cut out a bunch of circles from. It is easier to just like get the general shape of a circle with your finger because they're quite big circles. I'm using this little circle stencil from Kaisercraft to do some more little bits around. Oh, here, zoom. I zoomed in for you so you could like see more close up. Isn't that nice of me? Also, you know, I have one of these new iPhones and they have a little ding button you can press to just do a big zoom. So that's kind of fun. But I didn't want to move my page around, so I've just zoomed out again so you can see me do the rest of it. So I quite like having the bubbles on there, and I do feel like it just, well, it does add like that another layer to it, a different thing, not so much the wateriness of the inks and stuff on the background, but a more concrete thing. Sorry, I really should be packing. Anyway, I'm just going over this shalom again. You might notice that, well, you might know in Hebrew we write from right to left, and then whenever I am like tracing over the top of them, I always write left to right because I'm right-handed and that makes more sense to not smudge the things, but I figure it doesn't matter once the letters are there in the right order. I'm just covering them over. I decided to just write a little bit of journaling just to make it more purposeful, I guess, the shalom being there. Otherwise it still felt a bit messy to me. So I just write my own little prayer, I guess, that says, Hashem, fill me with your shalom, that overflowing complete peace, over and over again each day. I've been really stressed lately, so this is sort of what I need and want from him. And that is pretty much the end of the process. I've got some close-ups now that you can look through. Don't forget to like and comment and share and subscribe if you want to. That would be awesome. Yeah, anyway, I hope that you have a great day. Thanks.